Hi. So we are talking, yes. Hi everyone. Today, Tracy and I are talking about what made us connect to characters in the series, whether to be sympathetic toward them, empathetic, or just to feel a general connection to them in particular, having, gone through a similar sort of situation, or just, understanding what was going on. So we were talking about Noah and Elle. So I admit, Noah, I didn't have really a great connection with him, even writing him. He was fun to write.
He seemed a little bit colder, maybe?
Yeah, I think he's a bit snobbier than the rest. Maybe that's it, because he's a little bit snobbier, a little bit more rich boy, a little bit more haughty, and I don't deal well with that.
Not as in haughty, as in haughty.
Yes, as in haughty. But I also liked the fact that he was accident prone. That I liked. I enjoyed that characteristic about him immensely. The fact that he put like a pen through his own hand. Spoiler! If you haven't read the book, he didn't do it in the book, but it was a memory thing. Although he did put the axe through the foot in the book. That was funny.
Not totally true.
Well, not totally true. He got 12 stitches. He got 12 stitches.
That's enough.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
I think it was 12 stitches. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was 22. Read the book. Find out.
Maybe just because I've never been, felt the, dorky guy. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dorky guy because he's a scientist.
Yeah.
But
I got over that pretty quick. No, just kidding.
I think you'd get over it pretty quick when you saw the size of his pocketbook. I mean, the man had a wallet.
That money.
Yeah.
We should start this over.
I admit it does make them slightly more attractive. Not really, but slightly. But, yeah. Elle, I could sympathize with in some ways because I understood what it's like to be a waitress. And yes, people are exactly as I put her customers. Yes, they are. They are exactly like that. The customers were funny. It was interesting that way. We introduced Max in that book and got to Max in the second book. So let's talk about Max and Paget. So with Max, for me, he was a real romantic. And I thought that was great because he was constantly going out of his way to be super romantic to the girl and trying to win her over, even though he omitted details at times. And we've all done that, so we can relate to that, and there was major consequences each time he did it. You think he would learn.
Because it never seems like there's a right time.
No.
But there's really a wrong time.
Like, not to have said
Oh! Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't mind that ever. No.
Yeah. So those were my biggest draws to Max and drawbacks of Max in a way at the same time. But also there was a real showing of honor because he was trying to pay back a debt, which didn't necessarily, well, it did involve him, but it wasn't necessarily his fault. But he's been trying to do this, and it was a really good theme among the books, the honor role that's going on. Paget, everybody takes a step down once in a while.
I liked Paget just because she, I liked actually Elle once she sat down, that I identified with Elle a little bit more once she sat down and shocked Paget.
Oh, okay.
Because it was just the funny character in her came out, and it was and it was just funny because she's like, it's all your fault. And it's like, oh. And so that interaction there kind of made me really like them. And
the easy conversation flow.
And Paget, I liked her because she kind of was starting over, and everybody can kind of identify where there's times in your life where you feel like you're figuring out your pathway or figuring out which way you're heading, or that it didn't work out, so let's try again. And you champion them there.
Well, yeah, everybody has to start over once in a while. So I think, yeah, you can understand that. I admit, I thought Paget was a bit of a snob at first. And these are people that I write, but I'm like, okay. But afterward, once we got to know her more, I think with her insecurities about things and her expectations about things and the fact that she really liked Max and held him accountable when he was omitting stuff, that I got to like her a lot more, and she became much more of a developed character.
I never thought she was like snobby. I just kind of knew that she was from that world and was under her mother's finger.
Yes.
And the expectations.
So that's kind of funny too, how two different people can have a different take on what a character is like.
And Noah was a lot like that too. He was trying to just do what he thought he should do and be just do it right. And
he was trying to push everybody into doing what he thought was right, even though it wasn't right for them. So he's kind of a little bit like his dad in that way.
I love the elf costume.
The elf costume.
That was like perfect.
Okay, so yeah, first book, Moments to Remember, the elf costume. Elf costume was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that also led into the third book in a way, because that was a moment interaction between Michael and Anne looking at the elf costume, and you got to see that those two, besides being boss and secretary, were also friends.
Yeah.
Which was good too.
And it's the cliche, except for done the right way, because they didn't want to be that cliche. They didn't want to be inappropriate in the workplace, so they pushed themselves to be exactly, hiding their feelings for so long.
Well,
and you identify with that, because you're like, okay, well, this is not the right situation to do this, but you're like, but they still,
they still had the hots for each other. Well, I think the thing was too, like, Anne, she slowly grew up. We saw through the little flashback memories that she was growing up, and he was much older than her, and so it probably would have been inappropriate at the time, and then because everything got stifled at the beginning, they kind of reached this balance in the middle, where neither of them did anything, because it was stifled at the beginning because it would have been inappropriate, and the point where it would have been appropriate but he would still be her boss, they're like, no, we've kind of fallen into this routine.
And how many people have friends or have had those situations where you're either the one who doesn't want to ruin the friendship, or somebody's like, I like you, and you're like, oh no, I was just being nice.
Yeah. Crushing on somebody in the workplace. It happens, right?
Or back in school days.
Or back in school, or whatever, you crush on somebody. And I think that they were really relatable, also being an older couple in a way, because they were just, calm about most of it until Anne kind of finally had the straw that broke the camel's back. And literally, just went, I'm done. Either if I can't have you, I'm done with you. Type of thing. And of course, poor Michael, he's a little slow on the uptake. Nice guy.
Isn't some days.
Nice guy, a little slow on the uptake. And I think his
own feelings got in the way of his judgment and seeing stuff too.
Yes, but he's also kind of I'm shocked, I need like 5 minutes to think about this, and in the meanwhile, she's like, and gone, and he's like, wait a minute, what, come back, I need to think this through and process it, and you've just really surprised me, and you wanted a response immediately, and now it's over, because you left. So, yeah.
How many of us have blown our moments that way?
Yeah, it's blown the moment where you're like, oh, I wish I could have said that, in the moment, and it's like 3 hours later. Kind of ruined it. So I think he was really relatable that way, and also the fact that I just gave him a sucker punch by throwing him into surgery. Poor guy. I kind of dumped on him a little bit. Who hasn't been sick?
I think
who
all
hasn't
your
had
characters
surgery?
had a little bit, they've had difficulties.
Well, everybody has difficulties in real life, right?
Yeah.
So they both had difficulties in real life, and I know that some women especially can relate to Anne going, tick-tock, biological clock is going, and the guy is not here, or he's clueless, like, come on.
And I'm the woman, I don't want to be the one who makes all the moves.
Yes.
Why aren't you getting my hints? Well, men aren't mind readers.
Like, seriously, why haven't you gotten my hints already, dude?
They're not mind readers. You pretty much have to tell them. Yeah. Then make it think that their fault, their choice, so that they can chase.
Yeah.